Indie Intel. This week, we're talking about a game that I just recently beat, which is also something we don't normally do, is talk about games that we've actually played and beat. And that is Devotion, as I mentioned at the top of the pod. So let me give you my normal flavor text that I would, and then we'll talk about the actual game.
Okay.
Devotion is a first-person atmospheric horror game depicting the life of a family shadowed by religious belief. Explore a 1980s Taiwan apartment complex lost in time, gradually shift into a hellish nightmare. Delve into the vows each member of the family has made and witness their devotion. So, a little background about this game. Okay, it was released in 2019, Brett, by a studio called Red Candle Games. If you don't know who
I know them.
If you don't know who Red Candle Games are, they are one of my favorite studios in existence. They literally have only made bops, and they are slick. Okay. So on February 21st, Brett, in 2019, a mere 2 days after the game's release, players discovered a Fulu talisman decorating a wall in the game that contained the words Xi Jinping, Winnie the Pooh in Chinese script. Okay. And obviously that is referencing the meme, right? That is pretty old at this point, of Chinese President Xi Jinping. Is he president? Dictator? Might as well be a dictator. I don't fucking know. Whatever his title is. Leader of China. Xi Jinping is as Winnie the Pooh, right? There was a meme with him and Obama, him and Eeyore, like all
Tigger.
Yeah, it's
Obama was Tigger.
Yeah,
and
yeah. It's just a meme, right? Xi Jinping as Winnie the Pooh, and he gets upset because he's a stupid idiot leader that can't have his fucking ego bruised a little bit. So anyway, that was in the game, and people lashed out, right? Specifically, Chinese people lashed out about it. Now, apparently, it wasn't meant to be kept in the final version of the game. It was more of a placeholder, but it was there. People got offended by it, and then basically, it was removed from Steam. Like it was removed from all other stores, so you couldn't get it, right? Because of this, and it was basically censored due to it. Now, they did at the time release a statement that they apologized, that it wasn't meant to be there. They didn't intend to upset anybody, X, Y, and Z, blah, 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 blah. I don't know what's true and what's not. I'll take their word for it. But I also am going to create my own narrative that I think they left it there on purpose. I like that they did, because their games specifically are always aimed to speak to power, right? And to visualize, right, and tell stories about the issues with military and government rule. And specifically this game, Brett, if you don't know, is about the 228 incident in Taiwan, or better known as the White Scare, you might have heard of.
I'm not familiar with it.
So basically was an occupation of Taiwan by China. Okay. So,
it fits kind of in there, yeah.
Exactly. So that's basically what this game is about. And, you experience these different years of this family through who was the husband and the dad, basically being radicalized by this religious group to, pray to this God to hopefully save his daughter, right? Who really didn't need saving. She had a condition that they thought then was a mental condition, and then he gets brainwashed and, things happen that I won't spoil for the game. But the backdrop of it is this White Scare, right? This Chinese rule and this religious push, right, to pray to this God, okay? And interestingly enough, after that White Scare in China or in Taiwan due to the Chinese occupation, they had super relaxed religious rules, right? Where like basically religious groups or cults could operate by themselves, okay? Which is why people became radicalized, right? And that's what this game talks to. And, there's stuff in the game about almost like indulgences. You know what the indulgences are? Where you pay for saving your soul or whatever. So that's kind of what this game delves into. So whether or not they actually meant to leave that in there or not, who knows, and I don't care. I hope they did mean to leave it in there. But anyway, a little more backstory. On December 16th of 2020, Red Candle Games and GOG announced that the game would be available on GOG's store. Okay. However, a few hours after making that announcement, GOG issued a statement that basically said after receiving many messages from gamers that they decided to remove that. We've talked about this before on the channel. Okay. Yeah. We have a video about this. So we'll put a card in here, link it at the end. Check it out if you haven't. But basically, I personally don't I no longer use GOG. I barely did at the time, and now I never will again. I think they're fucking disgusting human beings run by idiots that, were basically pressured by the Chinese government to remove this incredible game from the store. I don't like censorship, as we talk a lot about. I think it's bad, and any form of it is bad. And if you take part in it, I don't support you. Okay? Um, so anyway, that happened. And then, Brett, March 2021, the month that we're currently in, maybe still when this video comes out, maybe not. We might have switched to April. But March 2021, Red Candle opened up their own store for their game where you can buy it DRM free directly from them. You can buy the game for $16 right now. I think 20 some bucks for the game and the soundtrack. You can buy a bundle of Devotion and Detention, which was their first game. So you can get it now, which is why I wanted to bring this up for Indie Intel, because this game has been inaccessible for so long, and it was so sad to me to see such a small indie studio, right? 6 people made their first game, Detention. 6 people. Now they're a little bit bigger now, but basically,
well, the game went on to Detention went on to become a hit movie and also a
yeah,
series.
exactly. And Devotion, when it came out, blew up on Twitch. It was the #1 game on Twitch, right? It had overwhelmingly positive views, millions of copies sold. And then it got removed, right? And you saw those reviews go negative because of this, and you haven't been able to basically access the game for almost 2 years now. And now it's finally available, and I felt like it was a good time to talk about it because I just beat it, right? And also because it hasn't been available for so long, and I feel like people talked about it and all the controversy around it, and then it went away, and now it's finally available, and I feel like nobody's talking about it. I'll give you my brief review of the game, and then we can move on. I know the segment's usually short, but I also want to get your thoughts on it.
Yeah.
This game is incredible. I give it 5 stars on GG app. Follow me on GG if you don't. Links in the description.
Nice plug.
This game is perfect. Where Detention, which was the first game, was perfect, this game is even better. First of all, it's scary as hell. The first person aspect is great, and it almost works like PT, where you're in a loop of different, there's multiple areas, but you're in like this loop, and things change based off of stuff that you do, right? And you kind of experience 3 different timelines. You experience the year 1980, 1985, and 1986 through the lens of what this family is going through, right? And as you interact and solve puzzles and stuff in the game, you uncover more about the family, more about the dad's religious devotion, more about the atrocities that were being committed by the Chinese government against the Taiwanese people. And you start to take the role of not just the father, but you experience, what the daughter went through. And there's so many creative gameplay, the gameplay segments in this game. I couldn't believe it, right? It's not just a normal first-person horror game, right, where there's jump scares and you're moving through stuff and solving small puzzles, right? It's not just a walking sim. There is incredibly creative gameplay moments in this game. There's a story. You play a storybook at one point where it becomes like a 2D platformer, like puzzle-solving game. It is just incredible. And as with both of their games now that I've played, you have this political backdrop, right? That kind of gives context to the thing. And then you have the horror of like everyday life, either as a student or as a family, right? You have like a domestic type of horror game. And the stuff that this game shows you is gut-wrenching, and the horror of the game is almost more so from like the interactions of the human beings and the character you play as, rather than any of the other political or context in the game. I can't talk about it more positively enough. Don't watch a Let's Play of the game. Don't do it. Play it. I beat it in like 2 hours and 15 minutes, a little under 3 hours. Just play it. Just play the fucking game, because it is incredible and one of the best horror games I've ever played in my entire life.
Wow. What a glowing review.
That's it. But
I have it. I have to jump into it.
Yeah. But what are your thoughts about just everything before we wrap up Indie Intel for this week?
Yeah, I think everything you said is accurate. I feel like these developers are like, if you know music, like Rage Against the Machine are like this huge political band.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is like, that's what Red Candle Games is for games, right?
Right.
you might not be familiar with the causes they're fighting for as
Right.
an American.
Yeah.
However, like you, Josh, you kind of get wrapped up into it, and you start to get every side of it and every angle of it, and it's cool that you finally got the chance to play this. My opinion still stands about GOG. We talked about that in our previous video. So if you haven't seen that, check it out. My opinion still stands. And yeah, I mean, I'm glad that it's finally out. I'm glad that they finally released it on their own. They can make all the money off it now.
Yeah.
And when they first announced that it was out, they called it an eShop, and I thought they meant the Nintendo eShop at first, and I was like, holy shit. And I like checked my Switch, and it wasn't on there, and I was like, oh, they released it on like their own eShop.
Right.
So very happy that it's finally out. I have it. You, like you just said, you beat it. So I'm excited to play it.
Yeah. Absolutely incredible studio. Please check out their games. They are fucking phenomenal. And I do want to just add one last thing. If you are living in the United States currently and are a U.S. citizen, this game, Devotion, there's a lot of parallels that could be made to the regime that was just retired in this country. And that's what I will leave it at. Devotion, check it out, folks. Links in the description to purchase it and support the game.
Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Josh and Bret really need you too. I love them. So do it. It would be a shame if you missed more of their videos. Hit the notification bell too, so you know when there is a new upload.